guys, Chevney back, and I'm going to do another layout with my Scrapbook for Beginners kit that I built a few days ago. And I wanted to do one of the roll with it challenges, but I had to be very careful about which blocks I chose because so many of my prompts on all the blocks couldn't work with my kit, and I didn't want to pull extra stuff into the kit just because that kind of defeated the purpose. So I was very choosy with what I chose. I did the inspiration one. It has different ways to be inspired. The color challenge. This one has some different embellishments: shaker pocket, photo corners, tags, tickets, border stickers, or punch, or an envelope. And all of those are things we could do with things we have. This one is what photos to use, and then this one is how to do the title. And other than the die cut one, the cut file or die cut, I can use that for this. So we'll go ahead and roll real quick. And I got die cut title. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and re-roll that one. And I got it again. Handwritten title. Okay, so we'll do tickets, one photo, a scrap lift, and originally it was a scrap lift of myself, but it might be of somebody else, but I'll show you exactly what layout I'm going to scrap lift. Warm colors, which are like sunset colors: orange, pink, red, yellow, and a handwritten title. So I'm going to pause you for a minute and go try to decide what I'm going to work on, and then I will come back and explain it before I do my process. Okay, I'm back. So for scrap lift, for the inspiration, I chose this layout, and this is actually an older Paige Evans layout from 2014. It was on the American Crafts blog or website, something like that. But it's just all these tiny little circles across the background. So I'm going to use that idea, and then I'm going to cut apart the covers, the front and back covers, and punch circles from all of the patterns I like, which are going to be the warm colors. So like all of these pinks and corals and reddish pinks, and like the coral over here, the yellow, all of the warmer kind of tones. Pretty much everything except the blue and the green and turquoise kind of colors. So, and the neutrals, like the black. I might use some of the wood green, but the blues, the black, the green, the aqua, those kind of colors I'm not going to use. Next one is tickets. So I've got this little piece of pattern paper. I'm going to use that. Handwritten title. We'll get there in a minute because, yeah, I don't know yet. And then one photo. And I'm using this photo of me, Phil, in India it was our first fall family pictures. So, and I'm sure I have scrapped some of these pictures, but I don't know that I've scrapped this specific one. So, I'm going to go ahead and switch over so that I can fast forward the rest and do a voiceover. So hopefully it will be a quicker video than it has been. I will tell you real fast, I'm going to be using the 3/4 inch circle punch. So my circles are going to be a little bit smaller than Paige's were on here, but I think I can get more circles I can punch more if I do smaller circles. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward, and you'll hear me over the voiceover. Okay, thanks. Okay, so now we're just trying to get the whole thing set up right now, but I am going to go ahead and trim the photo down so that there is just a skinny white border around the photo. This is something I like to do on almost all of, and then I accidentally cut one edge off, so I do have to re-mat it on white cardstock. I do like to do this to all my photos. I feel like it gives it just a little bit of an extra kind of a focus on the layout, and it kind of separates the photo from the rest of the layout. And I know some people have a problem mixing whites and creams, but it really doesn't usually bother me, especially the white matting on a photo. I never really even think about it. So I am just cutting the cover and the background to the paper pad. I'm just trimming it into strips so that it's easier to get the circle punch in. And then I'm just gonna start punching circles. I can usually get about 3 across depending on the pattern. This one I was trying to get a certain, like the middles of those gingham. Sorry, I was trying to think of the word. But for the most part, I can get 3 across for all the other patterns. And then patterns like this, I was just more careful about what colors I got and didn't get any of that turquoise. So I end up punching as much as possible from this, a lot more than I thought I would. I didn't really think about how many circles it would really take to fill up this whole page. So I ended up having to go back and punch some more as well. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll forward real fast because this is sort of boring, and you get the whole idea of just punching as many circles as you can, just staying in the color scheme. Okay, so now we have all these circles punched, and I will have to go back and punch more later, just because I underestimated how many it really is going to need. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and mat my photo, and I used this striped with, it's got the horses, or I mean they're unicorns, I guess, along there, and I figured that's one that I probably wouldn't really use for anything else. It's very specific, so but whenever you do it like this, you don't see that they're unicorns or anything, and you just get those colors. Inking the edges just so that the parts where it's lighter colored and then the tear kind of stands out a little bit more against that background. And then now I'm trying to decide how to tackle this, because in my head I really need a grid to make sure that they're all lined up. But then I don't want to have to go back and erase all the grid marks. So then I decide to just go at it with a pen, and we'll just give it a different kind of pattern. I'm gonna draw all the grid lines in a black pen and then add the circles over the intersecting parts. I was laying the circles out across the ruler to try to decide how far apart to place all the lines, and I end up doing 1 inch apart. It gives it a little bit of room between each circle so that you'll see those lines, and I'll give it a little bit of that white background. Ultimately, this is probably not my favorite layout in the end, but it is very interesting. It looks cool. It's just I don't like a lot of white space, so it's not my most favorite, but it is a really cool look. And I think especially using the covers of the paper pad, because they're a little bit shiny, and gives it a different look as well. So I'm just gonna keep continuing 1 inch across all the way, and then I'll turn the paper and do the same. And then we'll start deciding where to lay out those circles. Okay, so coming up on the last little bit, whenever I did turn my ruler to go the opposite direction, I made sure that I lined up so that it was 90 degrees. We didn't get any like diamond kind of shapes, which would give you another look. So now I'm just trying to place the circles where they are kind of spread out color-wise, like the yellows aren't right next to each other, etc. And decide how full I need to. I left the picture there what I'm trying to say is I left the picture there so that I know where to end the circles, because I don't want to waste circles and put them behind the photo where they're not going to be seen. So I'm just going to keep filling in and messing around and trying to figure out the layout here. And I will go back and punch more circles because, like I said, I underestimated how many I was going to need. Okay, so now all the circles are against the background here, and I did go ahead and adhere them all down just because I literally added glue and adhered them down. It's a really boring, so I didn't go through and show you. But one of the prompts, I believe, was tickets. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I think it was. So I used the 6x6 paper that had tickets, and cut it into a banner shape to use. And now I'm just going into my scraps and trying to pull scraps because I need to do a hand-drawn or handwritten title. So I'm just trying to find colors or pages that I liked. And depending on how you end up doing your handwritten title, you can do it in different ways. In the way I did it, I used, I did like a block font, but if you did like a script kind of font, you'd need a bigger piece of paper. But since I did this, I was able to use some of these little strips for a couple of my letters. So now I'm just very quickly drawing out with the black pen letters. If you need to trace or print letters to use, you are totally welcome to do that. I was just being very quick about it. And I did make sure all my papers were cut down to the same size so that, not cut down, but I measured my letters up next to each other so that I could make sure they were all the same size or height. And I'm just kind of scribbling the letters so that if I do make a mistake, I can go back and fix it and it still looks like part of the letter. And then gonna fussy cut those out. And thankfully, I chose a title that I could use a really short word to do my hand cut. So it did go fairly quickly. And then once I have all these cut out, I believe I use foam dots to attach them so that they give it a little bit more interest, maybe, to the background, just a little bit more to them. And my photo, I can't tell if I've already done it here or not. I'm sorry. I created this layout several weeks ago, and then I just haven't done the rest of the voiceover, so I don't really remember every part of it. But I think I do, if I haven't already, end up putting the photo on foam. And I did go ahead and cut the little inside part of the A out just because I felt like it looked kind of weird. And then we'll pull these pink glitter chipboard letters out and use those for the rest of the title, which is just going to be the year, because these photos were taken in 2016. Then I decided I need something behind the 2016 just to help it stand out a little bit more against that busy background. So I pull out these labels, the printed labels. These are some of the free ones from Ellie Studio. If you go to their website in their digital section, they do have a lot that you can purchase, and then they have several free sets as well. So I was just trying to get one in that coral color that was large enough for the photos. I mean, not the photos. I don't know why I said that. For the letters. And I did realize partway through that this one does have the lines on it, and I didn't really like that, but I didn't have another one that size that would work, so I just went with it. And of course we're going to use Nuvo liquid glue to adhere these chipboard letters down, because chipboard letters, whether they're thickers or otherwise, never stick. And if you haven't tried Nuvo glue, sorry, my brain's like not quite there yet. It's very early in the morning. So I'm like kind of processing a little slow. If you haven't tried Nuvo glue, their liquid adhesive, it's amazing. It dries clear, it dries pretty fast, and it has a super fine tip, so you don't have to mess with the fine liner bottles or tips or anything like that. It already comes with its own fine tip, and I've only ever had it dry inside the tip one time, and it was because I left it all night open on its side. Any other time I've never had, even leaving it open, if it's standing up, I've never had it clog. And if you put your lid on by the time you're done crafting for the day or night or whatever, I've never had it clog. Just the one time that I left the lid off and left it laying flat like it is right now. And it was easy to unclog. So now I've gone in with the foam, some of the craft foam, and cut into strips, and I'm adding it behind all these letters. The F and the A, I'm trying to be careful about, or not be careful, but I'm trying to figure out where the letter is going to hit on the photo so that the foam is only behind the part that won't be over the photo, because the photo is popped up, so it can lay flat against the photo. And then just adding to the back of the A as well. And I forgot to mention, because I was talking about the Nuvo glue, the label stickers up there at the top above the photo are, the coral one is another free print from the LE Studio free printables. And then that yellow one is from the free printables that I listed in the first video. When I shared the kit, I did share links to a bunch of free printables from myself that you can download and print. This label is from, it's like 5 or 6 sheets, I think, of just labels in different colors. So you are welcome to go back to that video and download those. And now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere my photo to the background. Trying to make sure it's at least somewhat straight. And then with banners, I like to leave the tails not adhered down and then kind of roll them up just a little bit, just so you get a little bit of texture there. And then now I'm trying to decide which order for those L's to make them. But I do put them back to what I had originally. And then I'm just going to adhere everything down with the Nuvo glue again. And there we go. So it takes a while. This whole layout took a while because of all the circles and getting all that lined up. But the rest of the layout went pretty quickly. Just once everything's made, it comes together really quickly, if that makes any sense. I do, if my letters aren't adhering flat, I mean, if they're not laying flat to adhere, I do like to put a large acrylic block on top just to help hold them down till the glue dries. And then now I'm going to go ahead and place the 2016 part. And then After that's got probably about 30 seconds to dry, it is fine. This little wood piece is from that waterfall pack from Paige Evans. There was those little wood pieces in part of it. And I really did want to do cross stitch on it, but that was also a lot of time and effort, and I just didn't want to deal with it. And honestly, it looks cool just by itself, even without the cross stitching on it. So I just went ahead and adhered it down. Another thing you could do if you don't sew at all, if you have Nuvo drops, you could use those to go in and make little faux stitch lines. It would give it a different look. You could also go in with just paint and paint over the entire wood piece so that it was a solid color instead of the wood grain. But I like the wood grain, especially for fall stuff. It kind of, I don't know, fall feels like wood grain. Maybe that's just me. And then I pulled out some other bits and pieces. Those little the little circles with the plus signs are from some of the printables that I had included. And then this wood grain paper that I used for the A, I went in and folded and just fussy cut some little heart shapes, where you just fold it in half and cut a little heart shape. When I adhere these down, I will just adhere down the folded part in the middle so that they still have a little bit of dimension to them. I kind of wish I would have gone in with the gray ink and done the edges so they stood out a little better, but it's not a big deal. And I feel like it just gives it a little bit extra texture and dimension there. And then these little circles that I mentioned before, I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere those down because they are 1/2-inch circles. The Stampin' Dimensionals fit perfectly behind there. And it's just another little something to scatter across the background. And then the layout's almost done. I don't really do as much embellishing on this layout as I usually do, but I feel like the background, there was so much to the background, it didn't really need a lot more because the background was so busy. I did add these little tiny enamel hearts in the darker, it's almost like a burgundy color, but I thought it would work for this since it's all the darker colors. And it does kind of help them stand out on the background. And then I add a few of these little, like the little puffy dots from the Dollar Tree. I think they're in yellow. Yeah, the yellow. And then I was going to go in and add these little word stickers over the label right there. And then I'm going to add one more, but I'm adhering it to some white cardstock. It's just the back of one of those border strips, the zip strips. But I'm using it for the white part and then adhering it down so that you don't see, oh, I do more than one. I didn't realize that. So I'm going to do that again. And then that's about it. I don't add any journaling to this page just because there wasn't really a story at all. It was just our fall family photos that year. And I have a lot more photos, so if I do decide to add any journaling, I can definitely go back and do that on another layout as well. So here's the up close. You can see that the circles cut from the paper pad covers are shiny, so it kind of gives it a different effect when you see it, and it's kind of cool. I don't know. I like it. I like how it turned out. It's not my most favorite layout, but I really do. I like how it turned out. So thank you guys. Sorry, this whole voiceover was kind of weird today. My brain's still not right there yet. It's too early in the morning. So thank you guys for sticking with me and watching the video. If you liked it, please hit like and maybe leave me a comment and let me know if you've ever used the covers of a paper pad in any way like this. I mean, it doesn't have to be like this, but like if you've ever used it in any way on your layouts. And then hit subscribe if you want to see more videos for this series or any videos of mine. And then hit the bell notification so you're notified when I post another video, which hopefully will be tomorrow. So thank you guys again. Have a wonderful day and happy scrapping. Bye.